of how this spreads. We're going to be on page Tov Shin Aleph. Tov Shin Aleph. Well, let me just see if I can find out where we're at. We're going to be on number Hey in Tov Shin Aleph. So he says, now we're going to listen to the Yafe Shaah, which he's going to say about this situation. Rabbi Yafe Shaah Shabir Kan Lefi Darko Le'el, what he said previously. The Vavi Law Hu Vav, and he spells it like this, the Shem Ma de Mochastimo. So, first of all, he's introducing an idea, and I think I'm ready for this. He says that the Mochastimo has a Vav in it. It has a Ma in it. It has the whole name Ma. So what is that? Shemislavish Bo Gevura Da'atik. So in that Vav, which is part of the Shem Ma, which apparently appears there, he says, Shemislavish Bo Gevura Da'atik, which I think is the Botzinah D Kardonita. Hanikra by the same name, he says it here, Botzinah D Kardonita. So he says this is the Botzinah D Kardonita. He says right that this it's inside or this of this Ma. And he said the Zera Bibir Kan Bezel Shona explains it like this: Pirish Vov Hu Mocha Stimo de Eric Anpin. So he says that the Vov actually represents the Mocha Stimo de Eric Anpin. Now I'm thinking about the Mocha Stimo is that it's closed. He's saying here that it's in the form of a line, which is a Vov. Shehi Resha to the Saw, which of course the Mochastimo is the third Resha of Eric Anpin. The Yosha Shemos Shabal. So he says that if you wanted to see what combination of Havaya that you would see there, I guess that's what he means. He says Heim Shem Ma Shehu Bebechinas Vav the Shem Kadesha. I think with that last part we can understand that. Of a Sefer Malbasharim, now Malbasharim here, I'd like to see a Pirish on this. It's got a lot in it. He says, excuse me, it says it writes like this. Because of Rabbeinu Zal, the Rab writes like this. Begam b'Botzinah D Kardonita, Shehi Gevura Da'atik, which is now, we say, is lodged within the Mochastimo. Nafik gam kain minei chad nitzutza. One spark comes out from it. So v'hai nitzutza iskeniz b'mei ima. So what happens to this little spark that comes out from this place? Now, there was a different definition because previously I think that he was talking about a vapor he talked about the kruma davira, which I think, I'm not sure what I remember which part it is has a vapor that comes out of it. Here he says it's a spark. Of v'hai nitzutza is genid b'mei ima, so it's inside of the inners of ima. And there came so the gevuros the b'mei ima, and that is where the gevuros of the womb of ima are found. I don't know, I use the word womb. I don't know if it means womb, but inside, in her digestive tract. And it comes to her, that is Ima, from the Gevura Da'atik, Adkan. And that's what's there. And this Gevura Da'atik, originally lodged as a form of a Ma, he says, in the Mochastimo. And then it puts out a spark. And then that's where the spark winds up in the next parts of down, which is parts of Ima, or at least part of the parts of the next parts of. This is what it says here. Vav shehu mocha chochmas dimo. So now he goes further. So the Vav, we understand, goes along with the name Ma. So the Vav is in this mochas dimo, the chochmas dimo, Derek Anpin. What happens to this Vav? So ispatach b'haku nitzutza sheyatz b'mena. So it opens up. I don't know if it's because, but with this nitzutza, with this spark that comes out sheyatz b'mena, that comes out from it, ba'achra, into another place, another space, into another parts. Ki nitim b'mei ima, because that spark winds up. He uses the word moy or may, like the digestive tract of ima. I'm not sure. Dersiv cholech ledodi, because we have this phrase. It says, I think that was in In the Sifra Tzniut itself, he says, "Acholech the it goes to my beloved." Resha the Kro is Yachakech. I think it's not a vav there. I don't know what that is. He says v'chakech ka'ayin atov. So chakech is lashon palate. Shehu sod hagevuros, which is the secret of the gevuros. Shehi bechinas yayin, which is the concept of yayin. Yayin is a gematria 70. 70 goes along with zeranpin, the seven. We could say the 7 kitzvos, something like that. Cholek lidodi sod ima. So it goes to my beloved. Who's the beloved? In ima. It's trying to tell you that the track of this light. So because the question was, this is how in fact does this manifest itself in the lower worlds? I mean, if you're in a mochas timah and the mochas timah is closed, but he says a spark comes out. Here he says a spark. So he says ima, Botzinah D Kardonita shuhu gevura da'atik, which is gevura da'atik. So he says this is Gevura the Apech of Luvashas B'Chochma the Erik Anpin, which is in the Chochma Stimo of Erik Anpin, and Mishom Nimshach Hai Nitzutza Ad Mo'ima. From there, it goes out into the intestinal matter, and intestines, let's say, or the something like that, into the inside of Ima. What does it do over there when it gets into Ima? It closes up her opening, the Ima. He opens up her opening. What opening are we talking about? The womb. Shalo Yetzeha or Yosebedai Bepischa the Ima, so that on the opening of Ima, which I'm assuming he means the womb, or that kind of idea, the birth, he says so that it doesn't open up too much. Ki Zosabi Botzinah D Kardonita. He mida v'kitzva. That's what the Botzinah D Kardonita does. It's a gevura, so it constricts. He mida v'kitzva l'orus shelo yispashto yosem edai. So we're constantly seeing this. Is that the mochas timah is like a receptacle to a certain extent, but which receives the light from up above it, but it doesn't come out very easily. Either we said that it came out like as a fume or an aroma or something like that, which makes it seem like it's going into the kruma de vira. Then I don't know what happens after that. Kemoshe Kasa Rabbeinu b'mabasharim yisam sham, and he has a little note down here in number Lamed Ches. So let's see if we get anything particular other than just the site reference. So Lamed Ches says that the Rabbi b'mavasharim, he says Sham v'sel l'shona. This is the language of the mavasharim. Zech sod Botzinah D Kardonita, shehi hanosenes kitzba umida v'nikra kavamida. That's what it's called. It's the measuring line. V'chatam ki hachesed hu mispashek b'shofeya b'li kitzva. That's the nature of chesed. Aka gevura b'shehi din, but gevura which is din or constriction, no senes kitzba al shefa. If so, therefore, it controls the shefa. Shelo yispashet yoser harovi el makablim, so that you should not have too much light of the Ein Sof coming into those who are going to receive it. So this is all about what's going to happen, what happens here from the mochas timah and onwards. V'lechein Botzinah D Kardonita ihu modid v'avid kol inen meshichin ad kan. So in other words, it's like it's like the guy with the faucet, and he's able to turn off the water, or at least make it into something very small. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so that was the who was that? That was the Yafe Shaah. So the very interesting Yafe Shaah. So now he goes to number Vav. He says Rabbi Babir al Meshula Lefia Groa. So let's see what the Groa has to say about this. Shin is Boyer Mayim Sifra Tzniut Kan. So he's explaining over this. Vav is patcha ba'achra. So we have a phrase. So we understand that the hay is manifest at the nose. I guess we probably went through that part of before of Erik Anpin. What that exactly means, I don't know. But here's the Vav. The Vav refers to the name Ma, and the name Ma is manifest in the Chochma Stimo. So he says Vav is patcha ba'achra. Oz Vav the Erik Anpin. Shenichlal v'nistam b'mochas timah, which we said once again is closed up in there, the Erik Anpin, b'bechinas moach hadas. Now he says, well, you can see how it is that the name Ma goes along with the concept of das, because as we see in the Patach Eliyahu, it's really the highway. The name Ma is the highway of the transportation of all the light from up above to down below. Niftach v'nisgala b'makom acher. So that's the idea. The hainu b'makom peh. Now here's a new idea. Where's the other place? So you go from the Mochz Timor, which is the third head of Eric Anpen, into the mouth of Eric Anpen. Ki hadas ganas b'peh. Now I don't know if I know this. I don't know if I knew this. I'd like to know. He said, but the das, where ultimately this das comes out, it comes out at the mouth. That's interesting, because the mouth is the place where the words come out. The mouth is the place where the inside of Eric Anpen is going to be revealed. So I guess you taste it like a luscious palate, like good wine. It goes straight down to my beloved. Kolomar, what's the beloved? We said before that has to do with Ima. Kolomar, b'cheich shehu tochapeh. So the cheich is an aspect of the mouth. It's the part. It's okay. It's a tasting part. Let's say it's a tasting part. Gan is a das shehu b'chinas yayin tov. So what is there in that mouth? That's where das is located. Das is located, which he says is also known as good wine. Shecholet b'mishor goes straight. That's the nature of that line. Bebechinas machriya be'emsa, and it is a balancer that balances in the middle. So he said Botzinah D Kardonita, and it balances where? Using, I'm not going to say that, I'm going to say using the Botzinah D Kardonita who sowed the das. So he says that das, that's interesting. What a das? We understand that das is the tree that grows that's the sap or the water that grows the tree. So here he says, that it also has a balancing angle to it. And the balancing angle comes about as a result of the Botzinah D Kardonita who sowed the das and nikra Botzinah D Kardonita. So he says the Botzinah D Kardonita is das. Das is the middle line, and it balances. So it makes sure that there's not too much on the right side and not too much on the left side. Which travels inside of the mouth, the makasi pischa. What does it do when it goes there? It closes up the opening of the mouth. Because as I'm reading, I'm listening to myself read, he says that that's actually coming out of my mouth. And he says, let's read this part again, the makasi pischa. What does it do? It closes the mouth. Now, there is closed and there's closed. So he says, how closed is it? The makasi pischa. The nimsha v'yotza the hashpia the tachtainim. It closes the mouth. So if you think in terms, that's what we're trying to say, think of it in terms of speaking. That speaking is an actual aspect of gevurah, because what you're doing when you're saying them, you're refining or defining what actually is coming out of your mouth. The mechasach pesach peh covers over the opening of the mouth. Shel Eric Anpin Ein Sham ha'aros. There's apparently more in the ha'aros around. Okay, that was the whole thing there. Now we're going to go to number Zion. Number Zion says, Reir b'Zohar Chan. Let's go over the Zohar Chan, the site reference. There should be the Fidarko Le'el, so he explains according to his way that he talked about up above. The Vav law. So now we're talking about the Vav, which takes place in the Mochas Timor of Eric Anpin. Hu b'Pechinus Gulgalta. Okay, I take that back. It's the concept of the skull of Eric Anpin, which is the highest level of the head of Eric Anpin. Shenimshach b'menu b'Pechinus Saros b'Sod Vavin Ein Sham. I'm not sure what he wants to say yet, so we're going to see it. But one of the ideas is that, let me see, b'Pechinus Saros is that the light, let's say the light, the vapor, whatever it is that comes out of the Mochas Timor is going upwards. So he explains like this. Vav is the Gulgalta Ispetach Ba'achra. It is able to open up in another place. Meir Ma'ora Besod HaPeh. So now he says it shines, its light shines. The light that shines is the secret of the mouth. V'asa the Hislavish B'malka Meshicha. And ultimately this actually shows you where the Zohar Vakia that you could learn about this. I don't really know what he's saying here, but he's saying, let's try it again. Meir ma'ora b'sod peh da'ate So this ultimately, the middle line of all of this line that we're talking about, ultimately winds up in the Mashiach. Because, okay, he's an agent of the name Ma. Maybe it's the Ma Chodesh. Chola de Dodi de Mesharman. What does it do? It goes to the Dodi in a straight line. L'Yisod de Iman. Where does it go? Particularly, it goes to the Yisod of Iman. Now, previously in the Yafe Shaah, he referred to it as the Moy de Ima. So maybe there where we could say that it's actually the Yisod de Ima, and this gives us a better idea of, in fact, how it does spread. Shesham b'peh heim he gevuros. There in the mouth, there are 5 gevuros there. The 5 gevuros are called by the name Mansapach. So the Hanekroim Mesharim, which are called, he says, these are the, Mesharim, the ones that make you go straight. Gnuzim b'yisod ima, and all of this is hidden, winds up becoming hidden inside of the yisod of Iva. Ve'ein hemas aras mavuos. These are the flowing hairs that have within them mayim rabim, all the light from the Ein Sof Baruch Hu going through a very narrow place, which is the hairs. He says, liyisod habina, to the yisod of bina. So now we're inside of Malchus, Bina. It's going to the transfer place. It's going down the middle line. How does it do this? Botzinah D Kardonita. Haganah b'moy de ima, which hidden in that. I'm going to tell you the moy means her womb. Excuse me. Amabur be'etz chaim shar rapach ba'richos v'zer, that is ver anpin mikabelas hakli bibina v'sosim pischa, and it closes up that opening ad kan ein sham. That's a quote from the Zohar Chan. We're out of time. Tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, the next time, we'll come back and we'll take a look at this a little bit more. Thank you for learning with me today.